What you're about to see is all the material relating specifically to the petitions which were spoken at the Highways and Transport Committee meeting on the 4th of October 2024, which was submitted to the Council but not included in the officer's report, and which I successfully managed to raise during my public question, and it was brought to the attention of the committee, and it was raised by certain committee members and discussed. I've edited this together. It's about 10 minutes long because I think it's handy out of a 4-hour meeting to just take all of those segments which relate to the one topic so you can see them all together, so you can actually see what that material consists of. Alright, so here it goes. 3.4 at the top of page 6, it says the matter is to be considered afresh and no weight should be given to the previous decision, right? But look up there at page 5, just above it, you've gone into quite keen detail about the 2022 consultation, which was what was used to justify that decision. The 72% of respondents in favour, right? Now, at this point, I'd like to include an omission from this report, something which has actually been left off, is that more recently than this, there was a petition which ran from the 9th of August until the 13th of September, so last month, which gained 1,650 odd signatures, specifically saying no to the TRO. And that's more people than is represented in this number here. And so I just think if you're going to be shown this statistic, you should also be shown this one next to it. Don't you think? And because if you're going to cherry pick the data which you include and siphon off the rest, isn't that the definition of bias? As decision makers, you need to have all the facts available before you make your mind up. Is that not right?
Thank you. You've said that you produced a petition, but it doesn't look as if it was submitted to this committee because it did not come up under item 2 of our agenda. And I think that would have been a shame. That's a shame. It would have. I don't know why you didn't submit it for this committee.
I can give you the answer to that as well. It turns out that the council have got a policy. I forgot the name on the number of it, but basically petitions which are specifically to do with TROs get dealt with in a different way. And so when the petition closed last month, we received an email with the results and things basically saying that it would be taken off to the side and considered by the officers and it wouldn't go to the committee.
Okay.
Now, that's not my fault.
So we have received the petition. It's just dealt with in a different format.
Yeah, and it wasn't included in the officer's report.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. One of the members of the public mentioned his petition that he put forward, which obviously we haven't seen. And I just wondered why, because if you look at the agenda, it clearly says petitions and public questions. Sorry, how can we make a decision today unless we know the wording of that petition and the number of people who signed it?
I think unusually the Democratic Services officers can answer that one.
Thank you, Chair. The council's petition scheme sets out various petitions that have separate processes for that don't come through the committee that in the way that a petition normally would, and those relating to TROs are one of those, and that's essentially to ensure that they are treated the same as any other objection raised in the TRO process, and that's set out in the Constitution.
So my follow-up question is, I would still like to know the wording of that petition and the number of people who signed it, because to me that does have a bearing on any decision we make today.
Thank you, Chair. Yep, the petition is on the website along with all the other petitions, and I can provide you with a link.
I think that'll be fine. Councillor
Just for absolute clarity, I don't think it does have any bearing on the discussion that we are having today. And the reason that it doesn't is because this is a statutory process. And the petition that Councillor Hayes is referring to was outside that statutory process. Is that not correct?
If officers could confirm that, that's my understanding. Yeah.
That's correct, Chair, yes.
Okay, understood. I think that's clarified the petition process. Councillor Count, you're next, and then I've got Councillor Hunt.
Yeah, it's on the same point. I noticed that in the document in front of us, it covers the actual petitions, and it says at 3.15 on page 7, it should also be noted that in addition to the formal objections, 2 petitions were received on this matter. Petitions relating to TROs are considered by the Executive Director of Place and Sustainability in consultation with the local members, i.e. I think that's Frank gets to decide, it's his delegation, but the two local members get input and we don't. Now, I don't know the wording of the petition. I'm going to look it up during the debate. I understand that it's outside the statutory process, but it is information, and information, we should never turn down a rich source of information. I would like to ask the Director of Place and Sustainability the approach to this as a general thing. My expectation would be that the matter is being dealt with by this committee on this day, and therefore you will feed back to these petitioners the result of this, which you will stand by. That would be my guess how you would handle it. I would be interested to know if your approach is anything different to that, because if not, I wonder how you can deal with a petition when this is the decision-making body. So I'd be interested in hearing that. But I do think it is relevant to know the numbers involved of people objecting through their own chosen method of contacting us.
Okay, so a question around process then?
Well, the process would be, because I've yet to consider this, but I would review the petition and then provide a response to those who submitted the petition, as I would with any other petition that's for an officer to consider. So clearly I would take account of any relevant material, facts and decisions that may have been taken by the council at that point. That's what I've just outlined there, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I also have Councillor Hunt, please.
Thank you, Chair. I must say I'm rather disappointed when I hear an officer say, oh, it's on the website. Now, I represent a division that is mainly agricultural, and certainly the assumption that everybody has got a laptop is not safe. And I believe that it shouldn't be. I think some people could say it was rather arrogant to just say, oh, it's on the website, as though everybody has it. It's not true. A lot of my residents don't have computers, and therefore other ways of communicating with them should be addressed. Thank you.
Councillor Count?
Yeah, I wish to raise a procedural point that's come to my attention, please, Chair. And if we don't get the procedure right, we'll be open to another judicial review, as we heard earlier. So it's come to my, so we discussed petitions earlier. I read out 3.15 where it's handled by the executive officer. It's come to my attention that on this week, the H&T committee reconsidered the TRO to do with the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit in Ely. There was a petition that was presented and allowed to go to committee and was allowed to be presented at the committee. It seems to me that we cannot have one rule for this committee, a cherry picking which petitions it allows, and on the very same week on a TRO allow another petition. Thank you. Perhaps some clarity.
Okay, let's get some clarity from our Dem Services Officer.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, the petition that went to the committee meeting on Tuesday was in relation to a TRO that had already been passed. And so the petition wasn't seeking to impact on the decision on the TRO. It was looking at the way in which the process had been carried out and wider issues, rather than trying to impact the actual decision on the TRO, which is the objective of these petitions.
Okay, so are you confident procedure has been followed?
I don't know. Was the petition?
I was asking our Democratic Services Officer.
No, I'm asking a question, if I may. Was the petition to reverse the TRO or to affect the TRO?
If I remember rightly, I don't remember the whole petition, but that was one of the objectives of it. Yes.
Then the committee considered a TRO this week, and the petitioner was allowed to do it. And the note we have on here is petitions to relating to TROs considered by the Executive Director of Place. You've clearly established that happened once this week in a different way, and it's not happening today.
I mean, do we need to clarify this any further? I mean, I'm content with the answer the Dem Services Officer gave us. Do officers want to clarify this any further, or are we?
Chair, I'm confident that what the Democratic Service Officer has told us is correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fine. Okay, well, we'll move on anyway.
And I've got one final point. I mentioned this morning about the petitions, and for those of you who wasn't able to go online and find out, there was 2 petitions. One was if people were against the new TRO, and that garnered 1,652 signatures, and another was to keep Mill Road Bridge open, and that garnered just over 1,000 votes, I believe.
Sorry, that came across incorrect, I believe. So to keep the Mill Road Bridge open was 1,652, and to put in the bus gate was 1,006.
It's the way I've written it down.
All right. Well, thank you for clarifying that.
I am, just for the record, going to offer some further clarification over this. What Steve Count said there was actually incorrect. I think he misunderstood. So there were 2 petitions. One of them was started by me in around November 2023, I think, November, December sort of time. And that's the one that got 1,006 signatures, and that was literally saying keep Mill Road Bridge open. Right? That closed months and months ago. And then it was in the summer when the council announced its decision to have another TRO after it had pulled out of the court case and another consultation. It was the decision of the Mill Road Traders Association that they needed to run another consultation again. And that one was the more recent one, which got 1,652 signatures, and that was saying no to the TRO. So both petitions were for keeping the bridge open and saying no to the TRO. I just needed to clarify that point, because the way that I think Steve Count understood it was that one was for and one was against. That's not correct. They were both against the TRO, and as far as I'm aware, there hasn't been a petition for the bus gate. Obviously, it's just the consultations themselves. So that's all the material during the meeting which relates to the petition. And I have edited this down so that people can just digest that part of the conversation, because it's relevant, I think, and it's interesting, and for people's awareness, there was a petition, and the council, for whatever its reasoning, of course, they ignore those petitions and carry on regardless, because according to Councillor Kindersley, of course, a TRO is a statutory instrument, and so I think I'm right in understanding that it basically cannot be changed. It's either approved or not approved. I don't know what that means or what Kindersley really was talking about, but it seems convenient to me that the council would ignore a petition which had more signatures on it than the consultation results that they rely on to justify the decision. I'm just putting all that out there on the record. There's more to come, of course, because we have the matter of the blue badges, disabled access as well, of course, which is another important point which I think is going to come up later. And so that's it for this one. That was the petitions. Thank you.